Well, not persecuted perhaps, but there is an anti-Semitism afoot in this country that we haven't had in a very long
Well,
time, and I never thought I'd see the day.
I tell you where it comes from. It comes from the right wing, the extreme.
No, it doesn't.
All right, Bill Maher, of course, you know, he has this show Real Time on HBO, and we spent a lot of time talking about what he has to say, some of the truths that he reveals to his guests. This book tour that he just went on, where he pushed back against The View and Greg Gutfeld and Megyn Kelly and a lot of the fireworks that went on there. We like Bill Maher because we feel like he's pretty honest, even when he has to confront issues that don't really mesh with his pals on the left or his own past beliefs. And that's the case on this podcast, I want you to see, because he, like most mind-numbed liberals in Hollywood or anywhere else in this country, have always just sort of had this knee-jerk thought about conservative Republicans that, oh, well, they're anti-Semites. They're anti-Semites. You know, those conservatives, well, no, actually, they're not. In fact, my entire adult lifetime, every conservative Republican that I've known has been a stalwart supporter of the state of Israel and is usually a faith-based Christian. And most Christians in this country, well, we recognize and acknowledge the special place that the Jewish people have in God's plan for salvation. So we're really not anti-Semites. In fact, Hitler, probably the worst Jew hater in the universe, he was a man of the left, right? The S in Nazi stands for socialist. Okay. This whole idea that if you're a Nazi, you're on the right is actually a complete twisting and bastardization of history. So Bill Maher, after watching the events of the last 8 months around the world, has now reached the conclusion, the obvious conclusion, that the real anti-Semites are the liberals in this country.
I am not, everybody's like up in arms now about being Jewish. Suddenly everybody's discovered their Judaism. It's like, I grew up Jewish. I was bat mitzvahed. I went to Hebrew school. I did the whole thing. I like being Jewish, and I go to Shabbat. I do my thing.
By the way, if you're having trouble placing her, it's understandable if you aren't a child of the 80s and 90s like I am. If you're not Gen X, you're probably wondering, who is this woman? This is a comedian and actress of that era called Sandra Bernhard. She was a stand-up. She did a lot of movies, including with Robert De Niro, a very famous movie at the time. And famously, she had a lesbian affair with Madonna, if I remember right. Anyway, I guess she sort of unearthed herself. And of course, coming from that world that I just described, she was politically a radical liberal. So now watch what Sandra Bernhard has come to realize with her friend Bill Maher.
But everybody's suddenly like, I'm Jewish and I'm being, I don't feel persecuted.
Well, not persecuted perhaps, but there is an anti-Semitism afoot in this country that we haven't had in a very long time, and I never thought I'd see the day.
I tell you where it comes from. It comes from the right wing, the extreme.
No, it doesn't.
You think it's left. You think it's from the left.
Well, there is anti-Semitism on both sides. The right wing has the Jews will not replace us nonsense. Right. The left wing is even worse. That is coming down from elite colleges who see everything only through a racial lens. They are stupid. They don't know history. They think everything is about colonizers and racists and how awful America is. And America has done some bad things, but to drag Israel into this as the stand-in for every bad thing white people ever did, this is not any more complicated to most of these college kids than the Palestinians are brown and poor, and the Israelis are rich and white, even though half of them are not rich and certainly not not white and certainly not half rich.
Yeah.
But they think they're rich and white, so they're the colonizers and the apartheid people and the genocide people, and none of this jives with the facts.
But can we get on the same?
With the facts.
Can we get on the same page and agree that Benjamin Netanyahu is a shit disturber and needs to be yanked out of Israel? He is not good for Israel. He is not good for Jews. He has also contributed to the global mistrust. And it's not shouldn't be Jews, it's Israelis. But even Israelis aren't to blame. He is solidly to blame for everything that's happening right now.
He is so not to blame for everything that's happening. That's the.
I want you to think about the moronic thing that you just heard from this Sandra Bernhard person, who, God bless her, she's right where she's always been, right? And Bill Maher is attempting to score. And back to, the discussion earlier about how, if we disagree on something, we should at least be able to have a conversation about it. That's why I love this, that these two Jewish comedians from Hollywood, who were both sort of, pot smoking sort of hippies from the 80s, are clashing and disagreeing, but chilling about it, right? We should be able to do that. But how moronic is it for Sandra Bernhard, first of all, for an American to sit here and say that the real problem in this planet having to do with Israel is the prime minister, the person that the Israelis are actually supporting? So it's just like here in America, when they attack Donald Trump, what they're really doing is attacking us for supporting or voting for Donald Trump. And so here's an American saying, yeah, I love the state of Israel. The problem is Netanyahu. Well, so you hate Israelis because these Israelis have voted for enough representatives in parliament to actually put together a coalition government that would elevate him to prime minister several times, by the way. And this is just 7 months after the October 7th massacre. And you've got an American Jew sitting there saying Benjamin Netanyahu is the biggest problem facing Jews and Israelis on the planet today. And I don't know, maybe it's me, but I'm thinking Hamas and Hezbollah and the Palestinian Authority and Iran and ISIS and Al Qaeda might be a little bit higher on the list for an existential threat, Sandra? Let's see if Bill has anything to say.
That's the fault of the Palestinian people and the religion of Islam, which gets lost in all of this. I mean, we are fighting.
Wait. What?
Islam, you've heard of it?
No, but I'm saying, no. But how is that? What does that have to do with?
You said Netanyahu was mostly to blame. Mostly to blame is Hamas.
For what is happening right now?
Right now is happening because for years, Hamas took aid money, and instead of buying food with it and building buildings and hospitals, they bought bombs and made tunnels.
Who supported Hamas?
Correct. Yes, you're right. For strategic reasons, which probably were, in retrospect, not wrong. But it wasn't like Netanyahu was working against the interest in his mind of his own people. I know they say
he's working in the interest of only one person, himself, because he doesn't want to go to prison.
I don't believe that either. But it's a moot point because
we were having such a sexy conversation.
It's a moot point because Netanyahu he's not long for the job. But what everyone who's been to Israel will tell you, my dear, is that even when he goes, the Israelis are completely for the policy. That will not change. So yes, they don't like him, and there are good reasons for that. I agree. But the policy will not change. They want Hamas eliminated.
I agree. I know.
Okay, well, that's it.
But Hamas never should have had the power they had.
Correct.
He enabled them.
Yes, you're right.
Let's leave it there.
And even worse.
I don't want to end this fabulous.
I'll tell you the worst.
Rapprochement.
The worst
and love affair that has been overridden for years.
First of all,
talking about Israel.
Just because we don't agree exactly on something doesn't in any way taint our love, right?
You see now, but it might create a situation where we won't want to talk for a couple of years. We don't have that kind of time to waste.
No, we don't. We don't. We're like,
and I don't want to wind this conversation up or down on this very hot,
I'm gonna wind
uncomfortable,
I'm gonna wind it up.
Pita of a conversation.
I'm gonna wind it up. I'm just gonna say one more thing.
I'm gonna jam a pita with you.
Netanyahu's biggest sin is that the attack happened under his watch.
Have you ever been at a party with that really, really drunk person who has just discovered like the secret of the universe, and they gotta tell you, no, you gotta hear this, man. You gotta hear this. No, I love you. I love you so much. I love you. All right, so I gotta tell you this. No, shush. You got to hear me. This is so important, man. Seriously, dude, this is like, okay. So anyway, I was at the 7-Eleven, right? I had to get some Cheetos. And while I was there, it hit me, right? Because I was thinking about my final chemistry exam. I know it was 30 years ago. I know, but just listen to this guy.
So I was there. I was getting the Cheetos. I was thinking of chemistry because have you ever seen what's in Cheetos? It's like it's the same stuff, man. It's the same stuff that was on the exam. So anyway, I'm sitting there. I'm looking at the chemicals. I'm thinking about the Cheetos that I got to get. You remember that girl in chemistry? Do you remember the one with the incredible body? Do you remember? You remember the one? No, not Brenda. Do you remember? No, the really hot one. No, not Rebecca. No. The really, really hot one. Yeah, Ashley. That's right. Okay, you remember her? God, she was hot. Did you ever date her? What? No, I didn't. I wanted to. I didn't have the nerve. I should have talked to her, but I didn't. I never did. I should have. Oh, there's so many regrets I have. Do you have regrets? Why don't you tell me about your regrets? The Cheetos? What? No, I'm not hungry. What? No, that's cool, man. I gotta go to sleep. Can I go to sleep? I'm gonna go to sleep.
That's what it's like to talk to Sandra Bernhard about Israel. So I kind of feel for Bill Maher. So that's Bill Maher trying to speak the truth and reality to a very inebriated left-wing comedian. Imagine what his life is like. Imagine what my life is like. I'm sure we've all had that experience, but it was great for people to see that. And I think Sandra Bernhard, the whole at the end there, oh, let's just stop talking about this. I don't want it to ruin our friendship. That, you know what that is? That's someone completely out of her depth who doesn't know what the hell she's talking about, who's actually being faced with facts and information and reality. And that sort of thing really rarely happens in Hollywood or pretty much anywhere on the left.